In this video, we're going to start putting some data into an Excel spreadsheet. First, we're going to get a file, and actually we're going to follow along with the textbook. And this is a good opportunity to get some extra credit. We're going to use what's called a grader project, which is a thing that's been set up in MyLab IT. And you can go there and get the file and follow along with me. And then when you submit it, you'll get some extra credit. Okay, so that's a good thing to do. What you need to do is go to MyLab IT, go to the next class session, which is October 29th, and then click on the grader project, and then click on the download materials button in the lower left. Once you do that, you'll see this, and then all you need to do is get the second item there. The first item is instructions, which is really blank. All the instructions are in the textbook. The third item is just a picture of what your result will finally look like. The fourth item there, in retrospect, that's just a theme, which you already have on your copy of Excel. The second item, though, is the one you want. That's the starting point. That's the spreadsheet that you're going to start with. And it's very easy to download. Just click the button there that says download, and that works really good. Now, of course, if you're not interested in extra credit, doesn't matter. Okay, just start with any blank workbook. You'll do the same thing. Okay, here we are here we are in the assignment calendar, and we clicked on October 29th here, and here's the different items here. And what we want to do here is go to the grader project. So all we have to do is just click on grader project, and we want to download materials. So we'll click the button here for download materials. And we have 4 things we can download. We want the second thing. So we'll just click this button right here. And if you're using Chrome, a little button should appear in the lower left corner indicating that something has been downloaded. And if you want to open it up, all you need to do is just click it. Which opens up Excel. And because this file came in from the internet, it goes into protected view. Excel is trying to protect us from any kinds of viruses that may be attached to files from the internet. There are no viruses that I know of, so we can just go up here and click on the button for Enable Editing. There we go. And as you can see, it's just a blank workbook. But if you look up here, you can see that your name should be up here. Now, I'm not a student here, so they just put the name student there. But your name should be there. And if you want to submit this for extra credit, you want to make sure that your name is there so you get the extra credit. Okay. Now, if you're using a blank workbook, okay, that's no problem. It's going to say Book 1. That's okay. We can change that name at any time. Okay. But right now, what we're going to do is change the location of this. So let's go up here and click on File. And we'll do Save As. Okay, and we'll go put it into our My Documents folder. Okay, right now it's in Downloads. We don't want that. We want to go up here and go to the Documents. On the upper left side, we'll click on Documents in the Quick Access area. And there's not much there, so we can just go there and click it. Okay, and if it says Book 1, you might want to change that to something more interesting. Maybe put your name on that. Okay, just change the name so it looks like you own it. And that's all we need to do there. Then we can just click on Save. And now we've saved it in our My Documents folder, which should be fine. Okay. Now what we want to do is put some text in here. Let's go here, click in A1. But before we do that, let's make it look a little better so you can actually see things. I'm going to go down here into the Zoom In box here. Click on Zoom In, 2, 3, bring it up to about 150, maybe 160%. That's pretty good. Make it nice and big so you can all see it. And we're going to click in A1, and we're going to type in the title of the report here. We're going to type in the name of the company, actually, which is okay. And as you can see, the text is bigger than the cell. That's okay. It just runs over into the next cell because there's nothing in the next cell, so it just runs over into that. I'm going to hit the Enter key, and it goes down to the cell below that. All right. And for this one, I'm going to type the subtitle for it. Hit the Enter key again, and I go down there, okay? Now, I could hit the Enter key again to go into A4. Another way I could do is go into the name box and just type the address of that cell, A4. A4, hit the Enter key, And that's another way of going to a particular cell, which is fine. I want to put some text into this one. Okay, hit the Enter key, then some more text. Now you notice when I type an E, I want to type the word elliptical. When I get the E, I get the exercise bikes. It's saying, do you want to repeat what you just typed there? Anything that begins with E, and this is Excel's autocomplete feature, and that's pretty handy sometimes, but not this time. I don't want to repeat exercise bikes. I want to do something else, so I'll just continue to type it. Hit the Enter key again. And in cell A8, I will put the word total. Again, when I type the T, it assumes I want to do treadmills. No, I type something else, total. Okay, so put some text in here. It's always a good idea to save when you do some work, save it just in case you don't lose it if you have a power failure. So I'll just go up here in the Quick Access toolbar and just click the button here for save. Okay, now in B3, click on B3 right there. I want to put the months that we're going to put the data for. So I will type in April. Okay, now I want to go to the cell to the right. If I hit the Enter key, I will go down one cell. I want to go to the cell to the right, so I then hit the Tab key. Hit the Tab key in the upper left of the keyboard. That goes to the cell to the right. And I could type it here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click back into the cell there. I'm going to just click on the cell there again. And you notice there's a little square in the lower right corner of the border on that cell. The active cell is the one with the green border around it. Okay, that's the active cell. That's the one I'm working on right now. And there's in the corner, in the lower right corner of the border of that cell, there's a little box there. And if I put my pointer on it, it changes into a plus sign, okay? If I put the border over here, and if I click on the border over here, if I put my pointer on the border over here, it's a four-way arrow from moving it. But if I put it over here in that corner, that's the fill handle. That little box in the lower right corner is the fill handle, which is useful for moving or copying. Useful for copying something to other cells, right? And if I click this and just hold down my left mouse button and drag it to the right, you see what happens here, and let go. I can look at that, okay? Now, usually it copies things, but this time it knows that you don't want April, April, April. That doesn't make any sense. So Excel was smart enough to realize that you wanted a series. You wanted April, May, June. And when you use the autofill button, when you use the fill handle button, when you use the fill handle button, you get this little autofill options button here. If I click on that, you can see there's other options. If I did want April, 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 I could click this option button here and you get that. But no, it makes sense to have fill series. Okay, I want to go April, May, June. All right, and you can do April, May, June, July. It knows all of the months, and it's actually a pretty smart thing that Excel knows how to do here. So I will leave that as fill series, which is exactly what I want. Okay, now I'm going to click up here into the first cell, A1, and we've done a lot of work here. Let's save it. Okay, we'll go up here, click on the Save button again. Now that we have some text on the screen, okay, it's a good idea to practice some ways of navigating around the screen. Now, we can use the mouse. That works fine. We can just click on any cell that we want to go to. But we can also use the keyboard. On the keyboard, we have the arrow keys. I can hit the right arrow key, which will go to the right, and the down arrow key will go down, and you get the idea, right? And that's pretty good. That works pretty nicely. Another thing we could do is if we want to go up to the top of our spreadsheet, you can hold down the Control key and you tap the Home key on your keyboard. Control Home. Okay, pops up there. Now, if you want to go to the last cell in your spreadsheet, you go Control End, E-N-D, Control End. Okay, pops down to the last cell. Now there's nothing there, but that is the last cell. It's the last column, last row, which is fine, okay? And if we go back up, Control Home, there we go. Now if we want to go down a screen, okay, down a screen, right now we're just seeing rows 1 through 14, but if I wanted to go to row 15, I could hold down the arrow key and go down like so, just hold down like that, but that's kind of slow. The fast way to jump down is to use the page down key. To use the page down key, so you click on that. Okay, and you can go down one screen at a time. It's a real fast way to go down. And the same thing, you just do page up key, goes back up to the top. Okay, now we don't have anything over on the right side, but if you did, you can just as easily go to the screens on the right. In this case, you do hold down the Alt key and use the page down or page up key. And as you can see, when we get beyond column Z, it starts going to A, and it keeps going. And there's about 16,000 columns you have available for you. Okay, we're not going to go back there, so I'm going to just do Alt Page Up. Get back to my original one there. Okay, so those are some nice shortcuts for navigating around on the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, good. Now let's fix we have some problems here. Our text doesn't fit into the cells, and look at this overlapping all over the place here. Let's fix this. We definitely need to increase the size of column A, or we could decrease the font size in the text in column A, but then we wouldn't be able to read it. Better to just increase the column width. If you put your pointer, in Word, we could just put our pointer anywhere on the vertical line on the right side of that column. Well, it doesn't work that way in Excel. It's only up here in our labels between the A and the B. Then we get that two-way arrow going left and right. And then if we just move it, you could see, and there's a little measurement there, okay? I get the number of pixels. And what I want to do is get exactly 120 pixels, 120 pixels. There we go. Yeah, 120 pixels. There we go. Okay, another thing you could do is if you just double-click it. If I just double-click between the A and the B, that would automatically adjust to the widest thing in that column. Well, that's a little too wide. Okay, so I'm going to just take this and move it back to 120 pixels. There we go, 120 pixels. That looks nice. Okay, so it's big enough. Of course, the thing here in the second row here is a little big, but that's okay. We're going to fix that very, very soon. And what I like to do here is fix these column headers, okay? They're lined up on the left side. Well, usually when column headers, you want to put them centered. You want to center them, okay? So we'll go up here and click in the center button. In the alignment group here in the Home tab, just click the center button, and it centers it, just like in Word. Let's save our work. We'll click the Save button up here. And now we need to put some numbers in here. I'm going to make this even bigger so you have a better idea what's going on. Okay, zoomed in, we're at up 200%, nice and big. I want to put in some numbers here. So I'll type in okay, and I want to go to the next cell, so I will just hit the Tab key. Pops me over to the next cell. And I hit the Tab key again. And you notice it truncates the number there. If I click here, you can see that it displays 86894.8. But if I go up here and look in the formula bar is not showing me a formula, but basically it's showing me the underlying value that's in that cell. And that's 86894.82, but the displayed value in the cell is 0.8. It rounds it off because there's not enough space there. Okay, that happens, right? But and I just want to show you the difference between the underlying value in the formula bar, the thing I actually typed in, and what is actually displayed here. Let's click in the next cell here. And for June, the sales is and again, it truncates off the last decimal place. Okay, I'm just going to fill in the rest of these numbers real quickly. And you can just, at the end, you can just pause and fill them in yourself. Now, again, it has truncated off the last decimal place for a lot of these numbers. If I want to see them, what I could do is just select all of these numbers, all the cells with the numbers, and then go up here in the number group. There's a button up here. One is to increase decimal. So if I click that button there, it increases the decimal, and it shows me 2 decimal places for each of the numbers. And these are the numbers that I actually typed in. If you want full credit on the extra credit, you want to be sure to put these numbers in exactly as I have them here. Well, what's missing now? What's missing is these cells right here. We're missing the totals of sales for each of the months. And that's going to involve some calculation. But before I do that, I want to review some of the terms we discussed here. One is the active cell. That's the cell that we've selected. The fill handle is that small square in the lower right corner of the active cell. And autofill is the ability to copy something or extend the values into adjacent cells by dragging the fill handle and moving it to the right or moving it down. So next, we're going to do some calculations.